what's up with these spoilers, man? Spoilers all over the place. I'm tired of them. And then Marvel Sidekicks? We're going to explore that and my top 3 comics of the week. So let's get into it. Welcome to episode 2 of Mercs Corner. But before we get into everything, I just want to say, hey, if you like this video, if you like what's going on, like what I'm talking about, please don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with everything I'm talking about and doing and what's to come and all that good stuff. And also like the video because, I mean, it does help the channel. I'm a very small channel right now. But, you know, I would like to grow. I would like to be able to talk to more comic enthusiasts. And as well as, please, if you agree with something I say during the video, if you don't agree, if you have an idea about what I said or whatever the case, anything with to do with this video, please leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts because, hey, I love interaction, man. I do. I try to keep up with as much as possible. So with that being said, we're going to talk about my top 3 comics of the week really quick. And then, what's this deal with some Marvel Sidekicks? I mean, didn't we start off with Spider-Boy? Wasn't that enough? I'll get into it. And then, spoilers. We got a lot of them. And we'll also get into that. So, let's get this video started right now. We're going to get this video started with my top 3 comics of this week. And I got to say, there was some surprises in my top 3. So, let's just jump right into it. So, my number 3 comic of this week is none other than Dark Ride, issue 7. I gotta say, this was awesome. I mean, Joshua Williamson, he's been doing an awesome job this entire run, this entire series. But in this issue, I feel like it gets a little bit deeper, talking about the family history a little bit and some family, how should I say, drama in this issue as well that comes about. Halloween, the daughter of Arthur Dante, the owner of the park, she kind of came across as a little conflicted as to what should be done between Sam, her brother, and her father, because there was a blowout between the two. So I'll just leave it at that. So, awesome book. I'm feeling like this is progressing a little bit in a nice way. Not too fast, but not too slow. I think the pacing, this fits this comic. So, all that being said, Dark Ride, issue number 7, is my number 3 comic of the week. And my number 2 comic of the week is Night Terrors, issue 1. And, of course, I got that beautiful cover right here. Francesca Medina. Matina. Anyway, this comic right here, let me tell you, if you didn't have the issues from the week before, you might not really get this issue too much. But what this issue does is it does a few things, actually. It kind of gives an origin story of the new villain, Insomnia. I don't really want to spoil it too much, but I think at this point it's Saturday morning. So I think at this point, if you were going to read it, you would have read it by now. But there's just always a few that might not have read it. But this does give a good background or a good origin of Insomnia. Let's just say, this may give it away, but let's just say I felt like it made the Lazarus Planet, that whole weird event, a little bit more relevant. And I also like the fact that it kind of revisited very briefly Deadman's, not really his origin, but it kind of goes over his background just briefly. I kind of liked how it touched on that. And at the end of this comic, pretty much, I'm not going to show it, but I think it was the last page. There is a bit of a surprise. Somebody returns. That is kind of unexpected, but a very nice return, or not really a return, but appearance that's going to be a part of this story. And man, it's just, this has been really good. Dark Knights has really been, I mean, Night Terrors, man, I'm just scatterbrained right now. Night Terrors has really been good. And yeah, I just can't wait for more. So Night Terrors, issue 1. It's my number 2 comic of the week. Now, my number 1 comic, I gotta say, it wasn't even initially a comic that I intended on buying. It was not even an intention of buying, but Fish Flies, issue 1. Like I said, I did not initially intend on buying this comic book. I only picked it up because Void Rivals, the second printing of the first issue, did not come into my LCS. So I was initially I was like, all right, do I save that money or do I replace it or fill that void, so to speak, no pun intended, with another comic? And I heard really good things about this comic going into this week, as far as people's excitement and things like that. I just didn't intend on buying it, but I picked it up anyway, gave it a chance, and I gotta tell you, Squarebound, I believe it's like 64 pages. Awesome. So glad I picked it up. So the story, I love the story, and it's 64 pages, but it's a very easy read. It's not overly heavy on dialogue, because I think Jeff Lemire, he lets the art and the visual tell the story just as much as dialogue. So he kind of balances that out really well. And I mean, for a 64-page comic, you go through it pretty quickly, pretty easily, and it's not even rushing through it. But the story, man, I love the story. It's just, it's amazing. And I think in the back of the comic, right here, I don't know how many people might have read this, but it's basically Jeff Lemire just kind of giving a backdrop on him making this comic and kind of what he kind of went through. I will say this, if anybody, and he says it in the back of this book, Jeff Lemire says that there's not going to be a trade for this. So if you're one of the people like I am at times, depending on the comic, if you're one of the people that's just like, okay, I'll wait for the trade, that's not going to happen with this. He said that there's not going to be a trade, because it's essentially a trade as it is, like a volume 1, a volume 2, and every comic is going to be 64 pages, and it's a bi-monthly book. So the issue 2 is not coming out until September, and then November is issue 3, and then January is issue 4. So yeah, anyway, man, yeah, and it's pretty awesome too, because he added elements of his childhood into this. So I don't know, man. The story's awesome. It's a little bit grotesque with these fish flies, which are bugs, and you can kind of like just feel the crunching and stuff, and you can see that in the comic. But anyway, not too much about the story itself, but it's awesome, man. I highly recommend everybody picking this up. It's an easy read. So Fish Flies issue number 1 is my number 1 comic of the week. So we had Spider-Boy making a huge splash in Spider-Man issue 7. And there was a big old buzz, hype around that, man. And it's kind of built itself up. So now I find out, I'm looking at comicbook.com, and on Thursday, there's an article, and I have it right here. Marvel's new Champions covers reveal secret sidekicks for Deadpool, Wolverine, and more. So basically, what this is saying is, in October, on various different titles, such as, I'll just read this to you. Spider-Man isn't the only Marvel superhero with a secret sidekick. After introducing Bailey Briggs' Spider-Boy in the pages of Spider-Man, Marvel Comics will launch a new variant cover series spotlighting all new young heroes based on Marvel's greatest icons. Beginning in October, the new Champions variant covers will grace issues of Fantastic Four, Avengers, Deadpool, Amazing Spider-Man, and more, asking what if other Marvel superheroes, including Captain America, Black Panther, the Hulk, Captain Marvel, and Doctor Strange, had heroic proteges. Yes, I'm using air quotes because it's in the thing. Had heroic proteges you've never met before. So, and then it goes on and it shows like the specific titles on the dates that they're coming out, that these variant covers are going to be released. And, you know, throughout October, there's a good amount. I'll leave this link to this article in the description, by the way, so you can check this out as well. But, you know, some of them are cool, but it just leaves me to wonder, right? Are they going to try to eventually work these sidekicks that go from just a variant cover into the comics? Like, how would I feel with Deadpool working with a sidekick? Like, I don't know. To me, it just feels a little weird. It still feels weird having Spider-Man with a sidekick. Like, that's just weird. Like, there's a lot of characters that don't really have, I don't think really need sidekicks. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm just wondering though, how would you guys feel with, say, Moon Knight having a sidekick? So yeah, some of these covers, they look pretty good, man. They look pretty cool. Some of these characters look like they make no sense. But if you think about it, a lot of Marvel characters, I think Marvel really kind of does sidekicks a lot less than, say, like DC. Yeah, man. I don't know. So just something that I noticed that I was just kind of curious about. So I would really love your feedback on this, because like I said, it's got me curious. Are they going to start introducing sidekicks, or maybe not sidekicks, but like some sort of a spin-off of these characters that they're going to be putting on these covers? I don't know. It'll be interesting. So let me know what you thought. So, now, I just want to talk about spoilers, right? And I know I've been very vague in this video leading up to this when it comes to what I'm talking about spoilers, right? So the main thing that really kind of like just triggered this in my brain, and to be honest, initially this didn't really trigger this thought process in my mind initially, but the last few days I've been thinking, when the spoiler picture came out with Wolverine and Deadpool, and you could see Logan or Wolverine in his yellow and blue, man, I was like jacked up. I was like, yes, I'm excited, and which I am. Me, like a lot of other people, not everyone, but a lot of other people were hoping and wanting that yellow and blue back, you know, so we get to see that. But man, a part of me was like, you know, as much as I appreciate knowing, I would appreciate it more if I didn't know, because I feel like these spoilers, like with things like this, and then there's been other spoiler moments being revealed in other movies and stuff like that, and I'm just like, you know, I really really would appreciate not having these spoilers, because when I go to the movie or when I read a comic book, I love the element of surprise. You know, I like that, oh my God, like that shock, that awe, it just, when you have a spoiler, it just takes a little bit of an element away from the movie or the comic. You know, that's like with the Spider-Man 26 or 25, well, 25, 26, I don't know. The one where Miss Marvel dies, that was a big talk, man. Everybody was talking about that leading up to it. You know, trying to speculate, who could it be? Could it be this person, or could it be that person, or who? You know, there's a lot of speculating, but it to me, that speculation and trying to guess and wonder who and try to piece things together to see if you can figure out who's gonna die, it adds to the nostalgic to the comic or the movie. It adds to the excitement. And then for whatever reason, Marvel goes ahead and just spoils it. Oh yeah, by the way, Ms. Marvel dies. Why? Why would you do that? Because it kills any kind of momentum you have as far as people building up some sort of an excitement towards it. You know? And I'm not gonna lie, like once I found out that Ms. Marvel died ahead of time, I just wasn't really, because first of all, to me, it made no sense. Why Ms. Marvel? That is so random. You know, a character that hardly had any kind of foot in the game when it came to that entire Amazing Spider-Man run. Issues 1 through 26, 25, whatever the issue was. And she had like a few small appearances here and there, working for Norman Osborn. Man, I don't know. Like, but yeah, whatever. I'm getting. But just in generally speaking, spoilers ruin things, in my opinion. They do. And that's why I try my hardest, and I'm not always successful, but I try my hardest to not give spoilers when I'm talking about comics in my videos. And I'm sure you could probably tell when I'm trying not to spoil something, I'm having a conflicted, you might be able to see it on my face, that I'm having a conflicted inner thought. Like, how do I not spoil this? And, you know, sometimes I'm not successful at it, and I promise you it's not my intention to spoil. But, you know, with that being said, man, the Deadpool 3 movie, trust me, I'm a huge Deadpool fan. It does not deter me one bit from wanting to see the movie any less. I just wish I didn't have that spoiler. And then you have these other pictures coming out, like, you know, on set. And I'm like, y'all need to stop, man. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to chill with these spoilers, man. Like, let us be surprised. Let us go to the movie not knowing anything and leave the movie like, oh my God, I'm like, he had the yellow and blue suit. Man, finally, like, just let us have that excitement then, man. Whatever other kind of spoilers. Because I'll tell you what, Void Rivals, they did something amazing a few weeks ago when that issue #1 came out. Nobody expected it. But yet they nailed it. They nailed the element of surprise. And guess what? Void Rivals went from okay, that's another book on the shelf. It's another indie book, whatever, to just becoming a hot commodity. Everybody, like, just snatching it off the shelves once they found out what was in the back of that comic book. I'm one of them that's like, I gotta have that. It adds to the excitement. It could probably add a little touch of like a personal story to the movie or that comic. It can make it feel a little bit more special when you have that element of surprise. Is all I'm saying. All right, I'm gonna get off this soapbox right now. Yeah, but man, but unfortunately, it's the only. See, I said I was gonna get off this soapbox, but I'm not. Man, But yeah, the only way, unfortunately, to really avoid spoilers nowadays is just to stay completely off of social media. And let's be honest, once you're on social media, you're hook, line, and sinker for the most part, right? Like, I mean, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, please just chill out with the spoilers, man. I just want to be surprised. That element of surprise is, it's awesome. It's awesome when you can experience it. Now I'm gonna get off that soapbox. Mercs Corner, episode 2 is in the books. So please, like I said earlier, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave me some feedback in the comments, man. I would love to know your opinions on the topics that I touched today. What you thought of my top 3, and you know, all that good stuff, man. And yeah. With that being said, make sure you read those comics because they're not going to read themselves.